Hello, this is Daniel, and today I will be showing you how to set up misting and fogging in your Touch Series control. First, I will show you how to configure your equipment, and then I will look at the settings. So first, configuration. I will go to the menu, and then to configuration. Equipment, and then down at the bottom, we've got soaking. I will then select the zone that I want my soaking in this instance, zone 1. And then now I can assign my misters, my pumps, and my fans. For me, I am going to select, and here I've got my list of all the relays that I have that are unassigned currently. So let's go ahead and select 3 relays for my 3 misters. For pumps, I'm going to select 1 relay, and then for the fans, I will select, I've got 2 fans. Hit the green check mark to save, and that's it. Let's take a look at the settings then. We'll go into the menu and settings. And then on the bottom right here, we've got soaking. So here, if I had soaking in multiple zones, I could select the specific zone from here. I just have my soaking in zone 1, so that is the only option available. For modes, we've got disabled, obviously, which means nothing is going on. And then I've got my 3 different styles of misting and fogging or soaking. The first one being soaking, the second being misting/fogging, and the third one being smart. So each of these different settings or different modes have slightly different settings for the cycle and soaking. Our settings and set point options will have the same settings options regardless of which mode we are using. So to start off, I will start off in soaking mode and go through the settings and the set point tabs to give you the general settings. And then I will go through the cycle and soaking settings specifically for the soaking mode. And then I will go through those specific settings for our misting and fogging mode and our smart mode. So first, the general settings. Here we've got a start time and a stop time for when our soaking is active. So as of right now, I've got 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. my soaking will be active. So outside of those hours, which is basically overnight, my soaking will not be active. So that means even if the temperature is hot enough that my soaking should enable and start, because we're not in the active time, it is not going to start. So you can adjust that to whatever you want. You can adjust it so that it's running from midnight to 11:59 p.m. if you want it active all the time, or like I've done here, set it so that it is off during a period in the night, or a period in the day if you want it soaking overnight, however you want it to be. Our pump delay in seconds, that is the amount of time that we give our pump to pressurize our system before our soakers are turned on. So in this example, I have a relay for the pump and then a relay for 3 different sets of soakers, or 3 different relays for 3 different sets of soakers. If you have a system like this where you depressurize the system and then you only pressurize it when you're going to start soaking, then you will need to put in this pump delay to allow the pump to pressurize the system before you start turning on those soakers. What that pump delay is going to be very dependent on the pump and the size of the system that you have. And so you'll have to play around with that and figure out how many seconds it takes for your pump to pressurize your system. The second set of settings are our set points. Now here we have a low set point, we've got a high set point, and we've got a max set point. These set points act basically exactly the same as a variable speed fan set points work, with the low set point acting like our idle point, the high set point like our set point, and then the max set point like our differential on a variable speed fan. And so what I mean by that is when we're below our low set point, we're not going to be doing any soaking. Between our low set point and our high set point, we're going to be doing the minimum amount of soaking. And then as the temperature rises between the high set point and the max set point, we will be slowly ramping up the amount of soaking that we do until when we reach that maximum set point, at that point, we will be doing the maximum amount of soaking. And so this very closely mirrors how your variable fan works as far as idling up until the set point, and then between the set point and the differential, your variable speed fan speeds up till it hits 100%. There's one other option here in this menu, which is the humidity cutoff. If I enable it, and then also select the sensor, the humidity sensor, then it gives me an option to set a percentage of humidity. I'm going to set this, let's say 75%. To explain how this humidity cutoff works, I will give a brief rundown of what a normal soaking cycle looks like. So a normal soaking cycle, when the temperature goes above that low set point and we are within the active time, then it's going to start a soaking cycle. Our pump will turn on, and then after the delay, our first soaker will turn on. It'll run and then turn off, and then the second soaker will turn on, run and turn off. Third soaker will run, turn off, and then the fans will actually have started when the pump starts. So the fans will start when the pump starts and keep running while the soakers are on. And then once the last soaker turns off, the fans will keep running until the cycle time has completed. So that's how a normal soaking cycle works. If we have our humidity cutoff enabled and our humidity is above the humidity cutoff percentage, so in this case, above 75%, then we'll run a soaking cycle, but without activating our soakers, because we don't want to add in more water to the environment. It's already humid enough. We just want to run the fans to try and get some evaporation and some cooling going. So if we're above 75%, the pump's not going to come on, the soakers aren't going to come on, we're just going to run the fans for the entire cycle duration. Like normal, it'll skip over the water section though. So this allows you, like I say, to avoid adding extra humidity to an already humid environment. Let's take a look at our cycle and soaking settings here. So this is, remember, specifically for the soaking mode. So in here, we can adjust our cycle. So we've got a minimum cycle and a maximum cycle. So here I've set my minimum cycle to 5 minutes. My maximum cycle is 15 minutes. And then in soaking, I've got my soak duration, which is set to 1 minute. So how this is going to look is when we are at our idle or minimum soaking, so we're above that minimum set point, our temperature is above that, then we are going to do our minimum amount of soaking. So that means that we are going to have a long cycle time. So we are going to soak for that 1 minute. And so that'll be 1 minute with soaker number 1, 1 minute with soaker number 2, 1 minute with soaker number 3, and then 12 minutes of just the fan. that'll bring us to that 15-minute cycle time. Then it's going to read the temperature again and decide if it does another cycle or have we cooled down our temperature and no more soaking for now. As the temperature rises and we move up towards that maximum temperature set point, once we reach that maximum temperature set point, we are going to have a reduced cycle time. And so at that maximum temperature set point, we will have a cycle time of 5 minutes. So that means we'll have soaker 1 for a minute, soaker 2 for a minute, soaker 3 for a minute, and then only 2 minutes of the fans running to complete that 5-minute cycle time. And then it's gonna read the temperature again, decide if it does another soaking cycle. So in soaking settings, you are adjusting the length of the cycle while keeping your watering time consistent. And that soaking cycle, the time reduces, so you get more water more often as your temperature rises. Let's go ahead and take a look at our second mode. So in misting and fogging mode, if we go to cycle, you will see here, cycle duration, we've just got a single time, so 15 minutes. However, in misting, we have an adjustable mist duration. So here, it is similar to soaking, but instead of adjusting our cycle time, we're going to adjust our misting duration, or how long the water is on. So in here, our cycle time is always going to be 15 minutes. But if the temperature is low, so if we're, just above our minimum temperature set point, then we're going to have a 1 minute mist duration. So Mr. 1, 1 minute, Mr. 2, 1 minute, Mr. 3, 1 minute, and then 12 minutes of just the fans to get to that 15 minutes of cycle time. As the temperature rises and we go up to that maximum temperature setting, then our mist duration is going to increase. So once we reach that maximum temperature, we're going to have 3 minutes for Mr. 1, 3 minutes for Mr. 2, 3 minutes for Mr. 3. So now we've got that misting going on for 9 minutes, and then we'll have 6 minutes of just the fan to again complete that 15-minute cycle. So with misting and fogging, we've got the consistent cycle, and then how long our water is on, how long we're misting, that increases as the temperature increases. And obviously, if we're somewhere in between, if we're between that high temperature set point and the maximum temperature set point, say we're halfway in between there, then our mist duration is going to be 2 minutes because it'll automatically adjust our settings and put it in there how it should be. Looking at our final mode here, we've got smart mode. So again, set points and settings, those are all the same. But our cycle option and our misting option is what is unique. For our smart mode, the cycle can be adjusted. So again, we could maybe do, and actually for this one, why don't we keep it at 15 and we'll maybe increase this to like 20. So our cycle can be adjusted. That's like with the soaker settings. But then if we take a look at the misting settings, our misting duration can also change. So here in smart mode, when we are just above our minimum temperature, we're going to be doing our minimum amount of misting. So that means our cycle time is going to be the longest. So that I set, I think it was to 20 or 25 minutes. And then we will have our minimum mist duration, so 1 minute. So we'll have, and let me just double check here so I'm not misspeaking. Okay, 20 minutes. So we'll have mist duration of 1 minute, so 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, and then 17 minutes of just the fan. And then again, as our temperature increases, we're going to shrink our cycle time from the 20 minutes down to the 15 minutes, and we will increase our misting duration from 1 minute to 3 minutes. So our maximum amount of misting when we're at that maximum set point or higher, when our temperature is there, at our maximum, we're going to be doing 3 minutes of mist duration. So that'll be 3, 6, 9 minutes of having the 3 different misters on. And then our cycle will have been reduced from 20 to 15 minutes. So we're going to have 9 minutes of misting and then 6 minutes of just the fan. So the smart setting, we're adjusting both our cycle and our misting duration. So those are the 3 different mode types that we have for misting and fogging and soaking in the Touch series. Of course, once you've got all your settings set up as you want them, make sure you're hitting that green check mark at the top to save them. I hope this made things clearer. If you've got any questions about this, leave a comment down below and I'll help clear things up for you. That'll do it for this video though, so I'll see you guys in the next one.